Welcome to a Look Back Machine Shorty. Have you ever wondered how Disney made those sing-along movies in the 90s? With their costume characters dancing around the theme parks, singing well-known Disney songs. Well, it was more guerrilla filmmaking than you could have ever imagined. Here's Paul Schoen, who would go on to have a prolific career as a DCOM director. But at the time, he was an assistant director on Disney sing-alongs, Disneyland Fun.
They were very difficult, and we have to do them very quickly, and the park has tons of rules of what you can and cannot do. And so sometimes, because they wanted the experience to be great for the guests, but they also recognize that they want, the exposure and those sing-alongs. I did another one which was similar called Diz Kids, which was a local thing. And so we would get up at, sometimes I'd get there at 4 a.m, and then you would try to shoot as much as you can before the park would open, and then the park would open, and you would get a couple hours of the park with the park open. But there would be challenges, like they wouldn't shut off the music to rides, and so in order to, it's a small world, for example, you'd have to sit there and wait until the loop of the song got around to the same spot again, and then, do other takes. And it's a machine, there's a whole backstage area that you get to know, which isn't as romantic and as special as sort of the park area is, where you see people with their heads off and, eating lunch and smoking cigarettes and, so, and then there's a lot of fun stories of guests that were not so appreciative of the park and the characters, and how certain characters got thrown in the bushes and got stuck there until somebody came along and rescued them and things like that, which they ended up starting to send out those characters like Mickey and Chip and Dale with handlers at that point, so to try to keep them safe. Nobody, once they are in the character, the characters can't speak any longer, unless they're Cinderella or something where they have they're a real person. You have to be respectful to the crowd, and you're only allowed in certain areas. You have to, they won't shut down the ride, like the guy said, and if you're lucky, maybe they'll turn off the music, but really they don't want the experience. So anything that gets in the way of the experience of the guests at Disneyland, they're not really into. No, it's like a day or two at most. So mostly you prep and you get everything what you need. And then, so that when you come in there, you're surgically, and you're really sticking to a really super tight schedule. So you have to know exactly what you're shooting, and it's a run and gun kind of a situation. And you don't want to be running all over the park because it's huge too. So you're really well mapped out of where you want to go, what rides. You show up at a ride, they give you the 15, 20 minutes you get on that ride, and then you move to the next ride. It's very difficult. And you start to, so I have kids, and when my kids were younger, I had done those sing-alongs way earlier than that I came to the park. And you see the gate, which, it looks like, it's Frontierland gate. But then behind it, that it's a giant staging area for things. So some of it you lose some of the magic of, the ride. When you've been in like the Pirates of the Caribbean control room with all the cameras and you see everything that's going on, that sort of takes the magic out of it a little bit. So you have to put on a brave face for your kids.